What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the What's Up Tank Washington Show. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to all of my loyal followers. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me so far. And to all of my new followers, welcome. I hope you like what you see. First order of business. Where the heck have I been? Well, back in February, I decided to take a job as a poll worker to help my fellow citizens exercise their right to vote. And as some of you know, I'm also a competition shooter. So for a good portion of my life, I've been a fan of the sniper long-range shooter guy. And I always wanted to, try it out and see what it would be like. Well, if you remember from my last video, I covered the first match in the CheyTAC USA's Tactical Sniper series. And I had so much fun just being out there as a spectator that I just couldn't help myself. I had to get involved. And that's basically what today's video is going to cover. Impact! So not being completely green, I knew I needed a pistol and some ammo. I knew I needed a rifle and some ammo, but there were a few other things that I wasn't clear on or wasn't sure about. So with the help of some good friends, they helped me fill in the blanks and I headed out to the range. Now, when I got to the range, I was one of the first to get there. It was still pitch black dark and they hadn't quite started registration yet. So did a little looking around. I got to watch a beautiful sunrise, and then the other competitors started slowly rolling in. After registration was complete, we had the stage briefing, and then the competition got underway. Well, the first stage of the competition was called the Warhorse Rooftop. And in this particular stage, we had to position ourselves on a makeshift rooftop using a range-provided shooting bag for support however we saw fit. We then had to engage 5 targets ranging from 230 yards out to 490 yards, one hit each, and we had 60 seconds to do this. Well, as you will notice in this particular video, there is no video footage of me actually performing this stage. The reason being, I was doing more paying attention to what was going on than thinking about filming myself, and I actually completely forgot to film the stage. So I hope these screenshots give you an idea of what it was we had to do. I didn't do as well as I would have liked, but I didn't do completely horrible. Engaging the first and second target, I hit them first round impact. The third target, when I fired the first shot, I was a tad low. I adjusted, and then I got an impact on my second engagement. The fourth target, I never even hit it. And I'm sitting here and I'm going through and I'm thinking about my holdovers and I'm firing shots, and I'm just, everything is about a target low. Time ran out. I beat myself up, but the day's just getting started. We're gonna keep pushing and see what happens. On to stage 2. Stage 2 was called the Palmetto State Armory platform. We had to position the rifle on a boat simulator platform. We had to engage one target at 360 yards as many times as we could in 30 seconds. Sounds fun, sounds easy. It was not as easy as I thought it was. I got down with all the confidence in the world, and I failed miserably with all the confidence in the world. I set up my rifle, got down, took my first shot. Did not realize that when I set my rifle down, I didn't have one of my bipod legs completely locked in position. So when it touched the platform, it actually shifted up to one shorter position. So I'm balancing my rifle on one leg, trying to take the first shot, and completely screwed that up. My coach informed me that my bipod was in fact not on the platform, so I adjusted, had just enough time to take a second shot, of which of course I missed. And here's a little video of that epic fail.
Fire. You're ready. Stand by.
45 and 45 Richard's not fucking around these car pipes, bro. I don't know, dude. Over at the park, they make a lot of sense.
Bipod on the table.
Uh-oh, shut the fuck up. You just got
Bolt. Bolt.
This is fucking
Fire.
That's all the reason they did that.
I was saddened by my performance, but my spirit was not broken. Again, it was still very early in the day, and we still had a lot of competition left to shoot. Onward to stage 3. Well, stage 3 and stage 4 were actually combined. They were called the Aerodynamics Van Bush, and this took place on the range at the Jeep stage. And in this particular stage, we had to position ourselves at the rear of a Jeep and engage 5 targets that were ranged from 350 yards to 420 yards. We had to engage the targets nearest to farthest at the rear of the Jeep, and then we had to transition to the hood of the Jeep and do the same thing again. We had 90 seconds to complete this task. And here I am again. I get in my first position, get on target, fire my first shot, a miss. Second shot, impact. I move on to the next target. Again, I miss. My coach is telling me I'm still about a target and a half low. At this particular point, I completely forget about my holdovers, and I'm like, you know what? Just listen to what you're being told and adjust. I adjusted, took another shot, impact. I transitioned to the next target, took another shot, impact. I was just about to move on because I had finally found my rhythm and where my hold should be, and of course, my time ran out. So again, not a complete and total fail, but in my opinion, a fail nonetheless. I shouldn't be so hard on myself because of course this is my first competition, but who's your worst critic? Yourself, right? So I got to take a little break from rifles and kind of get my head together because now we're going on to the pistol shooting stage. And being that I shoot USPSA, pistols should be my thing, right? Well, let's say I performed a bit better with the pistol than I did with the rifle. We moved on to the pistol stage, which was called the Title II IPSC Invasion. IPSC, or IPSC, stands for the International Practical Shooting Confederation, for those of you who didn't know. But in the first stage, we had to engage 10 targets that were ranged from 20 yards out to 100 yards. One shot each, and we had 45 seconds to complete this task. Now, again, you would think that this would be something that's fairly easy, but it wasn't because all of the targets varied in size depending on the distance that they were placed. Still had fun. Like I said, I did a lot better with the pistol than I did with the rifle. Moving on to stage 6, still on the pistol stage, but it was called the Control Solutions POS Spinner. And in this particular case, POS means exactly what you think it does. Although I feel, and a lot of other people felt, that it was impossible to get this spinner to spin because at some point somebody had shot it right at the joint where the actual spinning part goes. But there were a few people who were able to get it to spin. How is still beyond me, but kudos and congratulations to those folks. I was not one of them. However, I did get the 5 necessary impacts to get the 5 points, and it was 10 points if you actually got it to spin. Okay, so moving on to stage 7. Stage 7 was called Vortex Sniper Hide. And this particular stage was a completely blind stage. You had no idea what you were doing until you actually got up in position to shoot. All of the other competitors, they had to wait in a waiting area where they could not see anything that was on the range. When you got into position after the start, you had to go prone and shoot under a boat. You then had to search for 5 sniper type targets that were on the edge of the water between 2 blue barrels. Now, this particular stage, I felt that I was just going to sweep it because at the previous match, after everything was all said and done, they had a similar stage set up, and just to see if I could do it, I took out my rifle and I did pretty good on it. So at the start, you couldn't tell me that I was not about to completely sweep the stage. Contrary to my own beliefs, I did not get past the first target. Fired my first shot, I missed low and right. I fired my second shot, I missed high and left. And this pattern continued throughout the entire duration of the 45 seconds that we had to engage these 5 targets. And for the life of me, I could not figure out why. I had shot a similar stage before. I should have been able to knock this out with no problem whatsoever. I came off the line, went back to the competitors area, and one of the other guys, he asked me how I did. And I told him I blew it. I completely blew it. And he's like, what happened? And I explained to him what my shots were doing. So he's like, let me see your rifle. So I hand him a rifle and he's looking it over and he grabs my scope and he starts to shake it. I did not realize that the entire match, my scope base was loose. And I just wanted to completely kick myself because the entire time it never even dawned on me to check to see if anything was going on. I just thought that I was having an off day. And that particular time, I figured that my day was pretty much over. I had all but packed up my stuff, but my pride wouldn't let me quit. We still had 1 stage left to shoot, and even though I knew my rifle was completely useless, I was still going to try. One thing I can say about the competitive shooting community, or the shooting community as a whole, well, to an extent as a whole, but these are some of the most friendly people I have ever met in my entire life. And even though it's a competition and we're supposed to be competing against each other, the number one goal is that everybody has fun. Because of course, we want you to come back. There's never been a competition that I've gone to that if somebody lacked something or if something broke, that there wasn't another competitor who either had advice or the equipment to help them fix it, or if they didn't have a piece of equipment and this person had an extra, they would give it to them to use. Well, after hearing what happened with my gun, I was approached by 3 other competitors, including my coach, that offered me to use their rifle to shoot the final stage. I was originally gonna go and shoot this guy's 6.5 Creedmoor, but then I was approached by another guy who had a 6BR, and my coach told me that I probably should shoot that one just to get the experience of shooting a different caliber that I've never shot before. Well, I am very glad that I took his advice. because this guy had a very, very nice rifle with a very, very nice scope. The final stage was the Macmillan Challenge. And again, I'm so glad that this guy let me use his rifle. So for the final stage, we started out with only 5 rounds in our rifles. You had 45 seconds to get in position on top of the boat this time and engage 5 targets at 370 yards. The targets were of varying size, and each size target had a different point value. There was a shield, which was the largest target, which was worth 1 point, a diamond, which was worth 2, a circle, which was worth 3, a cross, which was worth 4, and a 3-inch ruler target that was worth 5 points. Now, the Macmillan Challenge was you had to hit the 3-inch ruler target with the first round impact. When I saw what the target array was, my mind was shoot the circle. You know, at this particular point, you've shot pretty bad all day long. You're not gonna win. Get as many points as you can so you don't finish that close to the bottom, because we already know it's not gonna be good. I had no intentions of even trying for the Macmillan Challenge because I'm like, okay, it's a 3-inch target at 370 yards. No, why? Well, just like I said, I've been shooting crappy all day long. I wasn't gonna win. So the other guys, they talk to me and they're like, dude, what do you have to lose? If you miss it, you miss it. Go on with your idea, and with the last 4 shots, get as many points as you can. But if you hit it, at least you don't go home empty-handed. I was a little nervous, but I was like, you know what the heck? Let's go for it. Got back to the line, buzzer went off, I got in position, and I was so nervous. I got down and I squeezed the trigger and forgot that I still had the bolt back. Well, that little jar was enough to snap me back to reality, because once I closed the bolt, I had calmed myself down a little bit, squeezed off the first round, and I heard the RO holler out impact. It did me a little celebratory fist pump, yes! And then it hit me, idiot, you still have time. Get points, shoot! I went back to my original plan, aimed on the circle, fired off my last couple of rounds. I didn't get the last shot off though, but I did manage to get a few more points on the board. Of course, when I got back to the line, everybody asked me, dude, you hit the 3-inch target. Why didn't you just keep shooting at it? I didn't want to risk missing, plus I was overwhelmed with excitement, and I was just glad that it was over. All in all, this was a very, very enriching experience. I learned so much just by being out there and doing it rather than spectating, because there's a lot more that you get an experience from the hands-on aspect of things than just watching people do it. And I'm so glad that I actually decided to finally get out there and do it. I want to give a special shout out to Mr. Richard Todd of Todd Resources Management Gun Range. Thank you for putting all of this together. Also, thank you for extending the invitation for me to participate. I want to thank my buddy DL Dye and the good folks at Greatest Rifles for allowing me to use some of their footage and photos in the absence of my own. I want to thank Mr. AJ Jones for being a phenomenal coach and mentor. Thank you so much for keeping me encouraged throughout the day, even though I really wanted to beat myself up. Thank you to Justin Brim, and I hope I said that right, for offering me to shoot your rifle when mine broke down. Thanks to the brother whose rifle I actually used, but I don't remember your name. But thank you anyway. Special thank you to Mr. Cam Kane, who actually helped me discover what the problem was with my rifle. Yes, I have since rectified it, and hopefully in the next match I won't have that problem again, but thanks, brother. Thank you to my brother and good friend Michael Woodland of M-W Tactical, Bro, you saved my life with that powder scale. Without you, I wouldn't have even been able to get off the ground, so thank you. And to another good friend of mine, please don't beat me up because I can't remember your first name, but hand loads and holdovers. Thank you for just being that person to talk to shake the jitters off, and also thank you for being that last little nudge that gave me the encouragement I needed to actually get up and get out there and try it, regardless of not having the best or the most expensive equipment to do the job, but just to get a new experience and have fun. Thank you so much. So if you were like me and you're wondering about getting into competition, get out there and do it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? If you get out there and you fail, try it again and keep going back. You never know how good you are until you try. And as an added bonus, you get to meet some really cool people that's got some really cool equipment. And you never know, they may let you use it. New followers, like I said, thank y'all for joining us. Old followers, thank you for continuing to stick with me. I hope I can continue to bring you guys content that you want to see. And until next time, don't forget to like, share, and if you haven't done so, subscribe. Thanks for watching.